We are fewer than 30 days out from the Iowa Republican caucuses. The rhetoric is ramping up and in some cases getting uglier. The themes and choices of his words this weekend are significant. The former president again repeating language that echoes white supremacists. Trump saying that illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our country. And on Sunday that migrants are invading from foreign prisons and mental institutions. Suffice to say, he offered no proof for any of that. Let's dig deeper. About 15 years before he systematically murdered millions of people, Hitler put that phrase in Mein Kampf, quote,
I don't know if these people remember, Trump quite literally said, Mexicans are rapists. And then everyone was like, oh my God, finally, a breath of fresh air. If that's how you knock it out of the park, there's not that many different avenues you can go to level up the racism. Yeah, of course he's going to start being like, oh yeah, immigrants are poisonous. But he had to go poetic with it. It was wild to see CNN post Mein Kampf.
Great civilizations died out as a result of contamination of the blood, calling it a poison to the national bloodstream and infecting public life. Hitler was warning about German blood being, as he described it, poisoned by Jews. At his prior event in New Hampshire last month, Trump also used the word vermin to describe his political rivals. Comments that were condemned by President Biden as well as language you heard in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, he called who vermin, by the way? Leftists, which I swear to God, Biden and Trump agree on that for the record.
Now, is that an accurate claim? Hitler's Nazi party came to power partly by pounding the idea that the German government was being overrun by Marxists, something that Trump has suggested now is happening in the United States for years.
God damn it, dude. It's hard not to love Trump. He got CNN to defend Marxists, bro. CNN immediately going back to their old ways of being like, oh yeah, we hate Donald Trump. I can't believe he's attacking Marxists. Have you guys seen this? Just like the Nazis did. There is something to be said about the negative polarization against Donald Trump that ends up creating so many liberal allies. It's crazy. Immediately, they're like, well, famously, the Nazis hated the Marxists, just like Donald Trump. It's like they hate Donald Trump so much they love Marxists now. They love accurately telling the history. When the do you ever hear from any liberal institution the famous poem of First They Came for the Communists? When have you ever heard that from liberal outlets? Never. They rarely ever talk about it. If anything, they literally will even make it seem like Nazis were also socialists, national socialists. I've argued before that if Trump were handling Gaza in the exact same way Biden does, the liberals would be standing up for Palestinian human rights. Oh, 100%. I said that as well. People ask me, what do you think would be different about Trump versus Biden's handling of Gaza? It would be 100% identical, while simultaneously, instead of saying, oh, we got to stop the genocide, or not genocide, they would never say genocide. Joe Biden says, oh, you got to stop killing civilians, Jack. What the Trump would be like, it's awesome that you're killing every monstrous barbarian Palestinian dog. However, the one thing that would be different would be the reception of that message. When Biden says, oh yeah, we got to do restraint, Jack. Come on now. Whoa, don't kill so many babies, Jack. When Biden says that, liberal media goes, yeah, that's so fair and so balanced, so wonderful. Thank you, sir, for being the voice in the room. He's doing everything he can to stop the carnage. If Trump said that, and he does say shit like that all the time, there's no better evidence of that than literally the immigration border policies and stuff. When Trump says that, CNN has to be like, that's bad and that's wrong. So yes, there would be objectively more Democrats in the streets, more liberals in general, that immediately reacted to Israel's genocidal actions in Gaza. It would not be better overall. I'm not saying that at all. Because ultimately, reacting to the government and protest against the government doesn't actually change all that much. The Orange Man bad people were right? Yeah, of course they were. I've said this about liberals and how they changed their minds about Black Lives Matter. This is not made up. Back in 2014, 2015, 2016, when I was at the Young Turks, I would write articles about and I would cut videos about Black Lives Matter and how I supported it and how you should too. You know who didn't support it at the time? Under the Obungler administration? Liberals. Liberals did not support BLM until Trump negatively polarized them to defend Black Lives Matter. Liberals, including the Pod Johns as a famous ass example. The Pod Johns, Pod Save America, was not pro-BLM. They were anti-BLM. Even into the Trump administration, they were critical of BLM until Donald Trump shit on Colin Kaepernick and shit on Black Lives Matter. Then everybody turned and were like, BLM is great. Throw up the black fist. Obama himself said that the protesters in Ferguson were, I forget the word he used, but he used a racialized term. Either it was uppity or something along those lines. I remember him saying and using like a white supremacist. He said thugs. Yeah, it was thugs. It wasn't uppity. Sorry. That's what he said about the Ferguson protesters. Yeah, uppity was Ruth Bader Ginsburg on Kaepernick. Yep, sorry. I mixed and matched my liberal icons. Ruth Bader Ginsburg called Colin Kaepernick uppity. My point is, liberals don't have any coherent worldview in many instances, and they just basically look to what the Republicans are saying and then say, that's bad. I know that they're bad guys, so I should be against it. That's usually how that works, especially when it's like a charismatic figure such as Donald Trump, which everybody loves to hate and everybody loves to love on the other side. Uppity is a racist term, ? Yes, it is. In and of itself, in a vacuum, it's not, but it's a term that is definitely racialized against black people. It means like a person that doesn't know their status, that doesn't know their place in society. It's about black people in the sense that, black people that don't know their place in society that is like lower than white people are speaking out of turn. That's what that's the implication behind it.
Hitler wrote, quote, "There was time enough at home at least to exterminate this vermin." The Trump campaign did respond to criticism over his speech this weekend, saying that Trump's speech was great. They previously shot down that vermin comparison this way: "Those who try to make that ridiculous assertion are clearly snowflakes, grasping for anything because they are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome." And they added this:
"Nice.
Their sad, miserable existence will be crushed when President Trump returns to the White House." An interesting choice of words there, Brianna.
Certainly. And here's the thing. Trump's interest in Hitler and Nazi Germany,
bro, this shit is so 2015 coded. I love it.
It's not a recent development. Several journalists have documented it. Michael Bender of the Wall Street Journal wrote in his 2021 book about how in 2018, Trump told his then chief of staff, retired four-star General John Kelly, as Kelly was explaining to Trump who the allies and enemies were in both world wars, quote, "Well, Hitler did a lot of good things," praising the Fuhrer for his economic policies. Now, Kelly pushed back as Trump reportedly persisted speaking positively about Hitler. Trump later denied making those comments. But in 2022, Susan Glass.
I mean, a lot of what Hitler did on the economic policy front is unironically things that the capital-owning class want. He's not off base. Like, what do you mean? Who do you think he aligned with? Oh, National Socialism? Get the fuck out of here. It was nothing to do with socialism. They butchered all the socialists immediately. The entire point of fascism was to put some safeguards and create a new order so that capitalism could continue. Went on a privatization streak, an abolition of trade unions. You know what I mean? It's like literally down to the fucking wire, everything that the American capital owners want. Nazis' number one enemy were first and foremost communists, which they thought was a Jewish ideology. Yeah, they hated Jews and also simultaneously were like, yeah, cultural Bolshevism. The Jewish ideology of communism and socialism is like destroying the country. I think that there is definitely a very real Red Scare propaganda that has stopped Americans from knowing the truth about the Nazis' hatred against the Jewish ideology, in their words, of communism. And I think that they do that because, like, we also, during the Cold War, hated communism. So that's the reason why, like, they didn't want people to know about, like, what Nazis hated and why they hated what they hated, right? However, that then creates this weird phenomena where a lot of Americans can't comprehend why current modern American Republicans, who are reactionary, are almost identical to the Nazis, if not directly Nazis. That literally stems from Red Scare era, horrifyingly bad American historical education on World War II. We were so horny to prop this idea up, an entire nation terrified of like the communist scourge, the communist mind virus, that we ended up ceding ground to the Nazis, and now they run the fucking show. They won. Their ideology lives on in the hearts and minds of the American consciousness. They literally say identical shit to the Nazis while everyone is predisposed with socialists. Socialists in the fucking shadows. Scary socialists everywhere. There's no more damning of an indication that the Nazis won than having the modern day Republican Party motto resemble, and their main villains resemble identically the villains that the Nazis had for the exact same reasons too. Think about it this way. Nazis hated trans people, queer people, disabled people. So do the Republicans. Nazis hated Jews, said that Jewish people are responsible for the dangerous ideology of communism and also responsible for what? The Great Replacement, replacing the pure white German folk with immigrants and moral degeneracy. Who else does that sound like? Oh, that's right. Motherfucking modern day Republicans. They just simply don't say Jews. Some of them do. Not all of them say Jews. They say one Jew. They only say George Soros. So I guess they're not anti-Semitic. They don't say cultural Judaism. They don't say cultural Bolshevism. They say cultural Marxism. They haven't even changed the terminology that much. They barely massaged it.
This isn't new as well. Let's rewind all the way back to 1990 when Vanity Fair reported that Trump's former wife, the late Ivana Trump, had told her lawyer that Donald Trump occasionally read from a book of Hitler's collected speeches, My New Order, which he supposedly kept in a cabinet by his bed. And a friend of Trump told the magazine on the record that he had given Trump the book, saying he thought Trump would find it interesting. Now, Trump denied this, saying, quote, if I had these speeches, and I'm not saying that I do, I would never read them.
I love that. He's like, these are very scary materials. I would never read them. Even if I had them, I would never read them. It's like, dude, what? That makes it seem like you have them and you read them. And I don't even believe you can read, dog. It's a very normal thing. You could just literally be like, yeah, I read it to understand pure evil or some shit. You know what I mean? In order never to repeat it again. Like, you could just say a normal thing in that situation. Like, I've read Hitler's speeches on the broadcast. That doesn't mean I'm a fan of Adolf Hitler, dog. There's a difference between reading and understanding how fascism has taken root versus, I don't know, having like Hitler's teacup or something in your house and routinely using it when your guests are around.
More recently, Trump has unapologetically entertained anti-Semites. Trump had Nick Fuentes and Kanye West as dinner guests just last year at Mar-a-Lago. Fuentes, well known as a white nationalist and a Holocaust denier. Trump's team saying that West invited him without their knowledge. Still, Kanye West just the month before threatened to go, quote, DEFCON 3 on all caps Jewish people. West had, according to one of his former business executives, praised Hitler and what the Nazi Party achieved for the German people. So we're seeing a pattern, and the pattern here very clear.
Texas flying migrants to Chicago amid record surge. Here is what's going on. Governor Greg Abbott has pushed for a new law that allows Texas to control its own borders, stating that the situation is dire. But not only that, but they've also started putting a lot of these migrants on planes and flying them out to Chicago, New York, and the like. This apparently has become a major point of contention or major problem, especially on Twitter. There's that one lady who found out that apparently there was some undocumented migrants on the plane with her and lost her goddamn mind and has been talking about how she's doing investigative journalism now. And like her investigative journalism, what is she doing with her investigative journalism? It's going up to people that she suspects are actual undocumented migrants with a phone camera and being like, do you have any diseases? Are you a Mexican who is diseased? You know, that kind of thing, which is sick. In my opinion, she's like, why is nobody talking about these diseased Guatemalans on this plane with us? Here, oh, St. Clair Ashley, here it is. Oh, she's a fucking Babylon Bee chick. Entire flight full of migrants being shipped from processing centers on Delta. Are taxpayer dollars paying for this? So she posted this, and at first I thought like, wow, an ally. You know, she's looking at this and going like, well, before our taxpayer dollars paying for this. I thought she was trying to show the undignified way that we are processing people in this goddamn country. And then I realized, because I didn't look at her fucking actual description on her account, oh my God, no, she's just like an insanely racist person. The amount of people on the flight who were genuinely concerned but too afraid to speak up is insane. First of all, Imagine going to an airport and being scared of seeing migrants. You're at a fucking airport. That is literally where the most amount of non-citizens exist per capita on a daily basis. Airports are where migration happens. I'm losing my mind. What are you saying? Every single flight you're on, there are going to be people on that flight that are foreign. That's it. That's what people use planes for. Elon Musk, of course, in the bottom of we got to get to the bottom of this is wow, because he is the most horny moron on the planet. But it continues.
This is what the U.S. taxpayers are paying for right here. Premium seats on
premium seats. Yeah, they all got the exit rows. Oh my God, dude. Listen. Racism is one thing. Very commonplace. A lot of Americans are racist. But like even the most Klan robe wearing motherfucker knows like the international airport is one place where you're going to see some non-Americans, dog. It's like jumping in the pool and complaining that you got wet. What are you doing? And then 46,000 people like this. Oh my God. Sanctuary City, Chicago started obstructing and targeting our busing mission. Texas will now expand our operation to include flights to Chicago. Until Biden steps up to secure the border, we will continue to provide overwhelming Texas border towns with much needed relief. Like Greg Abbott's using his own tax dollars. Like get mad at him. Get mad at him. Some weirdo was doing the same shit in New York City. Just ran into a group of African migrants from Guinea heading to New York City. They had documents from Catholic Community Services Southern Arizona, Inc. I'm seeing migrants all over the place here at this airport. This is insane. Oh my God. Dude, of course you're seeing migrants at the airport. It's a airport. I want to perish. I cannot do this. I'm seeing this new trend of foreigners at the airport. That's crazy, man. No fucking way, dog. Oh, here, this is the other part. I saw this too. Oh my God. Ew. Yuck. Gross. Kimberly Guilfoyle. Ugh. I'm speaking to pilots who are telling me about 20% of their flights are this way. Kimberly Guilfoyle, let me tell you, I'm talking to pilots and they're saying 20% of the people that they're flying are black and brown. Yeah. And they have no way to stop it. Kimberly, there's black people flying. Some of them are foreigners. Some of them look foreign. Others are foreign. And brown ones, too. We need to shut down this air travel thing, okay, until we figure out what the hell's going on with this air travel situation.
Story. Apparently, pilots have been reaching out to you to expose even more. You know, what have you learned and what are they saying to you?
I'm seeing so much concerning stuff that honestly, if I'm being honest with you, is incredibly difficult to process mentally just to see the entire scope of.
Yeah, it is difficult to process things for you mentally because you're stupid.
How long this has been going on, for one, and two, just the vast scope of all of these things. I was sent boarding passes that the name printed on them quite literally say no name given. I'm speaking to pilots who are telling me about 20% of their flights are this way.
Bro, what are you saying right now? First of all, like at any given moment in any airport, there are going to be migrants. Like the distinction between someone who is, I guess, fresh from the border, who is an asylum seeker, and someone who is just a tourist is completely negligible in this situation. The only reason why you would ever be mad at this is if you're going to be mad at the actual governors taking this decision, making this decision, and like shipping people around without any care or consideration for their well-being instead of processing them in the states that they enter the country in.
Speaking to pilots who say, one told me, Ashley, I don't know who the hell is boarding my plane, which is
as opposed to what? Like you do know normally? Yeah, dude. When I board a plane, the pilot comes and sucks my dick, actually, and everyone else's dick, personally. Like, they come over and they say, Mr. Hassan Piker, thank you so much for flying with Delta today. Here, if you would accompany me to the bathroom, I will suck your cock. So glad, you know, I get such hands-on service at Delta.
What's really concerning is the pilots have no idea. They're left in the dark. There's coalitions of pilots and groups of pilots and flight attendants and airline staff who have formed little groups to try to figure out what's going on, because there's been no messaging from corporate to say, hey, you know, these people do not have tradition.
Why would the Delta executives be like, hey, by the way, I know you're a person who flies every day, which means that you fly a shit ton of non-Americans every day. Just so you know, there's going to be like 10% extra foreigners on the flight today. Like, why would that need to be told to the fucking pilots? I don't understand. It is quite literally the one job where you are always dealing with non-Americans. Why is there an additional heads up necessary? What the is she saying?
Traditional screenings, maybe we need extra security, nothing.
My Delta flight from Phoenix, when I asked the Delta representative if this was the case, his response was, what does it matter? They're humans too. Oh, I didn't even read that part. No one tell her they put criminals on planes sometimes. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yes. Oh my God, if only she found out that, like, yeah, sometimes they transport prisoners from prison to prison via commercial airlines. That happens too. A police cruiser crashed into a St. Louis gay bar.
It was an immediate, I got to get there now. There is something I can do.
Zach Gandy says the employees of Bar PM called him early Monday morning to tell him the news. He brought both tools and volunteers.
Right now, we're just literally getting things back to where they can open again.
Gandy says his organization, the Rudis Leather Society, calls the bar a safe space. Police say around 12:30 a.m., an officer was heading too close to a parked car and tried to correct himself but lost control of the cruiser, crashing into Bar PM. Chad Morris and James Pence are the married couple.
So, from what I understand, someone in the chat said that originally they lied and claimed that, like, he was swerving to avoid a dog. And everybody knows cops never miss an opportunity to kill a dog. So that's when you should have known they were lying. Okay? Huh. Yeah, I wonder what he was doing. What do you think his blood alcohol level was? Oh my God, dude. I love that cops just drive like psychos, by the way, even when he doesn't have his lights on. Why do you drive like that? Like, at least do the decent thing and turn the lights on, you piece of shit. What is this? What the fuck are you doing? They kill people like this dude? Yeah, I know. All the fucking time, as a matter of fact. I know the area dude was going at least 20 miles per hour there. I don't think this is 20 miles per hour. I think this is faster than that. Oh, you mean 20 miles over? Okay, yeah. It's just funny that he, like, ended up hitting a gay bar. You know that shit's not, like, deliberate, obviously, but it sure sounds like it. It feels like it was a hate crime. It's not.
Co-owners of the bar who live above it. Police say one of the owners came outside and cursed at officers. When another officer tried to calm things down, police say Morris shoved the officer in the chest.
I jumped up thinking it was an accident with a vehicle. And then I seen it, and it was a St. Louis City Police Department vehicle in the front of our building.
Pence tells a different story. He says he was put into handcuffs first for refusing to give his ID. After that, Pence says the police officers made a homophobic remark to his husband.
Came out. My husband came out as well. There was one cop that made a very homophobic remark. My husband did put his hand on a cop out of defense because they had already put me in handcuffs for coming out wanting to know what's going on. I was told I had to ID or shut up.
During a Monday press conference, Mayor Tashar.
Dude, cops are such scumbags, dude. I swear to God. They are such a burden on society. Like, motherfucker hit a gay bar and then made it the gay bar's fault.
Shara Jones commented on the crash.
Well, that's still under investigation, and as soon as I have more information, we'll be able to get that information to you as well.
Gandy says helping is the least he can do.
Anytime somebody is in trouble and you know you can help them, you want to do everything in your power to get them back up and running immediately. That's just what this community does.
It's pretty crazy that the police department is apparently charging the bar owner. While I think social media and internet make us more aware of how insane and abusive cops are everywhere, I also feel that we're experiencing a broad degeneration of what used to be called the rule of law in this country. Like, not to be all Cheeto man about it, but the reality TV show host, ex-president, who very openly supported Kenny Powers, who have won 6, is the shoe-in for November according to this week's polls. Not good. I personally think that a little bit of drunk driving is, you can drive drunk, right? Like, I mean, cops should be able to. Like, why not? They have to blow off steam. Think about it. They have the hardest job in America. Everybody hates them. They can't even beat their wives any longer with the same frequency that they used to be able to. So the situation is worsened. And they were defunded. So how else are you going to blow off a little bit of steam? You know what I mean? Arian Kurtaj, which ironically in Turkish means abortion. That's right. His last name is literally abortion in Turkish. Maybe he's like Kurdish or something. I don't know. The 18-year-old hacker who leaked clips of Grand Theft Auto 6 has been issued a lifetime hospital sentence. Oh, he's Albanian. 18-year-old Arian Kurtaj was a key member of the notorious Lapsus $ cyber crime gang. Some of the things I found out about this kid is that he is literally just like incapable of not hacking. Arian Kurtaj from Oxford, who's autistic, was a key member of an international gang, Lapsus $. Now, let me just say something. First of all, you didn't have to tell me he's autistic. I'm sorry. There's no non-autistic person who can pull off this. It's like, come on. Basically, cracked the character creation scene, lowered all of his other stats, and boosted his int as much as he possibly could. How the else are you going to be able to hack like that at the age of 18? The gang's attacks on the tech giants, including Uber, Nvidia, Rockstar Games, cost the firms nearly $10 million. The judge said Kurtaj's skills and desire to commit cybercrime meant he remained a high risk to the public. He will remain at a secure hospital for life unless doctors deem him no longer a danger. The court heard that Kurtaj had been violent while in custody with dozens of reports of injury and property damage. Doctors deemed Kurtaj unfit to stand trial due to his acute autism, so the jury was asked to determine whether or not he committed the alleged acts, not if he did so with criminal intent. A mental health assessment used as a part of the sentencing hearing said he continued to express the intent to return to cybercrime as soon as possible. He is highly motivated. Dude, like, I thought we take kids like this and we like immediately put them to work. Despite having his laptop confiscated, Kurtaj managed to breach Rockstar, the company behind GTA, using an Amazon Fire Stick, his hotel TV, and a mobile phone. That's it. No, you have to take this kid out of the hospital immediately and put him to work. Dude, give him to me. I'll be his guardian. I'll use his powers for good. That's crazy, man. This kid's a brilliant mind, and like you're trying to lobotomize him. You fools. Kurtaj stole 90 clips of the unreleased and hugely anticipated GTA 6. He broke the company's internal Slack message system to declare, if Rockstar does not contact me on Telegram within 24 hours, I will start releasing the source code. He then posted the clips and source code on a forum under the username Teapot Uber Hacker. He was rearrested and detained until his trial. Her Honor Judge Lee's nuts. That there were real victims and real harm caused from his other multiple hacks on individuals and companies he attacked with Lapsus $. Rockstar Games alone told the court that the hack cost it $5 million to recover from, plus thousands of hours of staff time. Another Lapsus member who's 17 and cannot be named because of his age was found guilty in the same trial. He worked with Kurtaj and other members of Lapsus to hack tech giant Nvidia and the phone company BT/EE and steal data before demanding a $4 million ransom, which was not paid. They also stole directly from individuals to their cryptocurrency wallets. The 17-year-old was sentenced to an 18-month-long youth rehabilitation order, including intense supervision and a ban on using VPNs online. As well. They only banned him from using VPNs. Like, oh man, oh shit, what is he gonna do now? I feel like the type of VPN you need is already probably kind of illicit, no? As well as hacking offenses, the boy was sentenced to what the judge described as an unpleasant and frightening pattern of stalking and harassment. Oh, that makes sense. As well as hacking offenses, the boy was sentenced for what the judge described as an unpleasant and frightening pattern of stalking and harassment of 2 young women. Yeah, that definitely tracks. Milkshake duck moment? No, there's a lot of these, like, I mean, dude, I know. I still want him. Yeah, I could rehabilitate him. It's not the main guy, but even then, him I can rehabilitate too. I'll teach him the ways. Give him to me. The group from the UK and allegedly Brazil was described in courts as digital bandits. The gang, thought mostly to be teenagers, used con-man-like tricks as well as computer hacking to gain access to multinational corporations such as Microsoft, the technology giant and digital banking group Revolut, During their spree, the hackers regularly celebrated their crimes publicly and taunted the victims on social network app Telegram in English and in Portuguese. It prompted U.S. cyber authorities to issue a lengthy report on the lapses and other teen hacker gangs. It concluded that lapses made clear just how easy it was for its members, juveniles in some instances, to infiltrate well-defended organizations. It's not clear how much money lapses made from his cyber crimes. No companies publicly admitted to paying the hackers, and the hackers did not provide the passwords to seize cryptocurrency wallets. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the punishment is crazy. I think he's clearly very talented. Especially Kurtaj is very talented. I mean, if you're able to breach Rockstar using an Amazon Fire Stick, his hotel TV, and a mobile phone, you know, he's incredibly talented. A lot of these kids also are very good at, like, despite having severe, possibly even debilitating levels of autism that is debilitating for their social interactions in the real world, they're also very good at social engineering. I don't know if it's like a skill that comes from masking, because you're constantly putting that on regardless, or if it's it probably is, but it probably is the skill that comes from masking, that they are very capable of social engineering, which is a major security flaw. There's nothing you can do about that. Like, that is the biggest flaw in every security, in every operational security conversation. Like, the biggest points of entry are always going to be the human beings that up. You click on something without really thinking about it, and then you got fished. My name is Donnie O'Sullivan. Folks, from this moment onward, you would refer to me as Donnie.
Donnie and I here doing jobs for the Group A security, you know?
Stress test, motherfucker! What you got?
That's right. Sucking the man's dick.
Are you sucking my husband's dick?
Whoa,
no,
hold on.
no.
I'm Mickey Sinclair.
Nice to meet you too. Luciano Vincenzo, it's a pleasure. Let me ask you something here, Sullivan. Huh? Whenever you got kids and they ask you what was your first job, you gonna tell them grime deliveries? No. Hey, listen, I know I was driving earlier and you flew out of the car, but it was nothing personal.
Whoa, hey, easy.
Right, you were driving like a madman. I, on the other hand, am following the law, you know.
You're following the law, my ass.
4 Italians, an Irishman, and an ex-mayor walk into a bar.